Blues Brothers to Bill and Ted this morning. We are cranking up to 11 by looking back at some of rock and roll's most iconic appearances on the big screen.
What we do is if we need that extra push over the cliff, you know what we do?
Put it up to 11.
11, exactly.
Rock music has had a long and storied history in the world of cinema. One that started to take off thanks to a small band from Liverpool.
What's that supposed to mean? I don't know. I thought it just sounded distinguished, like...
A Hard Day's Night setting up a genre that would reverberate for years, with hits like the Blues Brothers and School of Rock.
You just sit back and enjoy the magic of rock.
To comedy classics like This Is Spinal Tap. The intersection between movies and music has always proven to be a hit. So good.
Come on, you have to go.
I'm too old. My neck hurts.
You can't watch that and not headbang. Those films and a whole heap more are the subject of Shane Pinnegar's newest book, ROCKSPLOITATIon, and he joins us now from Perth for more.
Good, Shane.
David, Belinda, thanks for having me.
I hope you were headbanging along with us, especially with that hair. Now, you started off as a music critic, so what made you want to explore the world of film?
Well, I've been a music critic for about 15 or so years, and I've dabbled a little bit in writing about reviewing books and movies as well, and it just came about. I'd written my dad's memoir, which was quite confronting and emotional. He was a child migrant who came out and went to Fairbridge Farm School in Pinnegar, which was quite a horrible experience. And I wanted something a bit lighter, so I started diving into my favourite rock and roll movies, and next thing you know, there's a book.
Wow, I mean, so this is the thing though, like I think for fans of films, there's no genre for this. You can't call them musicals legitimately because they're not musicals. They're sort of a rock vibe. So what do you think are some of the elements that make these films so great?
Absolutely. Look, I think that rock and roll, more than perhaps any other niche genre, opens itself up to every single human emotion. You can make a romantic film, you can make a high drama, a melodrama. There is a disturbing number of 1980s heavy metal horror movies available out there. And yeah, there's also just fun. And of course, comedy. The part of my affection for rock and roll is the fact that it is absolutely ridiculous. So, in all the excess and indulgence and ego, it's prime for comedy.
Yeah, we also want to talk about the cover, Shane, because it's obviously inspired by the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's record.
Absolutely.
We know about the legacy that the Fab Four left in music, but how would you describe their legacy in film?
Oh, look, I think that A Hard Day's Night, their first movie, was just so massively influential in that, A, the writers and producers went on tour with them. They went to Paris and saw them in action, and they fictionalized their actual experiences. So it was a peek behind the curtain, if you like, to a life nobody really knew. And then the style of the film itself is sort of a fly on the wall thing. The camera's right there in the middle of the action, and it was taken on board by a lot of different movie makers and directors, and really caused a big influence.
I think you sort of touched on it just then, but that sort of crossover between comedy and rock and roll, you know, like if I think of Blues Brothers, Wayne's World, you know, it's that they sort of have this connection. What is this connection, you think, and why does comedy fit so well with rock and roll?
Well, as I said, I think it's just the sheer ridiculousness of rock and roll. Once you get those egos, that insular lifestyle that some bands live, and the excess that happens backstage, and we've all romanticised that. We've all sort of looked at a band and gone, gee, I'd love to be part of their touring entourage and see what really happens. And once you put all that together, there's so much to take the mickey out of.
Yeah, so I know it's like picking a favourite child, but after writing this book, have you decided on the ultimate rock and roll film?
That's such a difficult question. I have so many favourites. Obviously, you've mentioned A Hard Day's Night, Wayne's World, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, The Blues Brothers, Almost Famous. They're all fantastic movies. But my favourite is a little bit more niche, a little bit more cult. It's a movie called Get Crazy. It was by director Alan Arkush, who gave me a very long interview for this book, and he also made Rock and Roll High School with the Ramones.
Oh, with the Ramones, yeah.
And it's set at, he worked for several years at the Fillmore East in New York, the legendary, Bill Graham's legendary club. And so it's loosely based on his actual experiences, and it's set at a New Year's Eve concert at a venue there, and it has blues music, punk music, new wave. hard rock. It's just a fantastic movie. It's a manic, hyperactive fever dream of a film. He even says there's 2,000 punchlines and only about 1,500 jokes, so it's just relentless.
Well, I love the idea of this. Congrats on the book, Shane. We love it. It's so great to have you on the show. Let us know when the next book comes out, buddy.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, Shane.
Shane's book, ROCKSPLOITATION, that's a good one for the dads out there too. It's available now. Just to head on today.